Hello, welcome back. It's been so long. I don't remember what music we introduced ourselves with because I haven't picked it yet.
I think it's written by Jimmy Page.
It's definitely written by Jimmy Page. We find out in the credits. All music. Every single last note by Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skewing that a little bit. Is that
well, you're just as honest as they are because
I am.
they said he did it when he just contributed. I guess I would call it the Death Wish theme.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better.
It's like probably about 7 seconds of music.
Yeah,
they play.
But man, this is an exciting week because we're finally getting back to the man, the myth, the bazooka,
Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah, I mean
so
after the huge success that was Schlocktober, amazing, through the roof. The numbers are through the roof.
They're absolutely off the chain.
And so we have to reward you guys with something amazing.
Amazing? It's beyond amazing.
It's Death Wish 3. Most people would start with Death Wish 1.
No.
We take you right to the main one you have to see.
Everything about Golden Globus is cut to the chase, you know?
Right.
So we're cutting to the chase. The gang in this, love it. The commitment they show, love it. They take everybody in. They give them a nice weapon.
They
I
give
love
them
it.
a little makeup thing on their forehead.
Yeah,
it's somewhere you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's got to be on your face.
Yeah, they have recess, like, you know, they do cardio together. Like, this is pretty much what started CrossFit, was this movie.
A lot of shit got started in this movie, and we'll get into that as the movie progresses. But, suffice to say, if you're unfamiliar with the Death Wish series, saga, if you will, basically, Death Wish 1, we meet Paul Kersey. He's an architect. He's a pacifist. He's basically a cuck. All right? And what happens is Jeff Goldblum, the Jeff Goldblum, rapes and murders his wife, and then rapes and traumatizes his daughter.
Okay, 2 rapes in one movie.
So he loses his shit, rightfully so, and goes on a murder spree. But I will say this: Death Wish is probably the most real. I guess kind of realistic one of them. The series progressively gets wackier as they go with each sequel.
Yeah,
but the first one's the most grounded one, where he never finds Jeff Goldblum. He just kills some just random criminals.
And his daughter's messed up from it.
Yeah, she's
traumatized.
She's institutionalized.
Yeah, something that would probably really happen if something like this occurred. So.
I don't know. It's kind of over the top in the movie. I mean, yes, you're going to be traumatized by having that happen to you, but she's like in catatonic. It was kind of.
I don't tell people how to wear their trauma, man. Maybe that would have happened to her.
Okay. All right. So of course the cops love it. They can't admit it to the news, but they're like, finally, somebody's doing what we've been wanting to do. And so,
murder everybody.
But they eventually, the detective catches them, and he's like, "Look, you did what needed to be done, but I don't want to do the fucking paperwork. So can you get the fuck out of town and do it somewhere else?"
Right.
So that switches to Death Wish 2. He's in L.A. He's got his daughter in his custody.
Where was he in the first one?
New York.
Okay. Coast to coast.
And so his daughter, and this is what weird, because his daughter in the first movie was an adult, and she was married, and in this one, she was like, I think it was like a teenager, I don't know, but she had regressed to a childlike state. It was really weird. And now this one, Lawrence Fishburne rapes his daughter in this one. Doesn't kill her. It's his fault that she's dead because she kills herself to get away from him.
Yeah.
So I say he killed her. But don't worry. Spoiler alert. Charles Bronson kills him too.
Okay.
So now we go to Death Wish 3.
Okay. So he's got no history or no family anymore.
Back to New York.
That was New York.
Back to New York to visit his buddy Charlie. But
Good
we're not going to
Charlie.
get into that because we need to hear a trailer first. So, without further ado, you got anything to say, Griff? You got any facts, or do you want to do that after the trailer?
No, we were going to do that after.
All right.
You had big news. I thought you were going to do it at the top half.
No, I'm going to do that after the trailer.
All right, let's do it.
I'm sorry, I'm really tired. Griff's going to fucking carry me this whole episode. I'm sorry.
That's too bad because Bronson's your hero.
I know. If I suck this episode, I apologize. But I'm just really fucking tired.
I gotcha. I don't know. I can't think of a good way to tie this into.
Well, then let's just go and say
you're gonna go full Charlie, and I'm gonna go full Bronson on this. So
all right. So let's just get into this trailer for Death Wish. I.
New York, a city pushed to the edge. People pushed to the limit, and no one's got the guts to stop them.
It's collection time, Charlie.
3 murders, 4 rapes, 9 acts of random violence. This isn't a neighborhood, it's a war.
But there is one way. One man who won't be pushed. Charles Bronson.
What's the problem? Now you're gonna die.
It'll be just like before, Mr. Vigilante, with one important difference. You're gonna work for me.
People have got to start to fight back and hard.
I sent them a message.
That's him. I'll take care of him.
Now he's in the middle of a war.
See what you done? You got me mad.
In a world gone mad, there is only one law. His, Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3. Bronson's back in New York, bringing justice to the streets. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3.
all right, good trailer, great trailer. Lots of guns, lots of explosions. I didn't watch it. Let's just go on.
Okay, sounds good. But before we get in the movie, I teased it a little in the last episode, and I just want to get into it.
It's a little bigger than that, man. You channeled a dead person.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know how ever since I've gotten the Nang Chen hair system,
yeah.
I've been able to tap into otherworldly paranormal powers.
You're calling me up. You're not even using a phone anymore. You're calling me just through your brain powers now. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, well, the power of the Nang Chen. I don't know what to say. I mean, you need to get one.
I saw you driving on top of your car the other day. I don't get what's happening with you right now.
I've attained nirvana. I'm at that next level.
Oh, okay.
So what I now I can tap into the paranormal now. I can speak to the dead. I recently learned Charles Bronson is my spirit animal, and I commune with him now. And of course, you know me. I'm always looking to make money off the show, and I'm always looking for the next idea, the next thing, the next product that people are going to be talking about.
Of course, we want to serve our fans with the best products
so,
possible.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Negotiations were back and forth. I read Donald Trump's Art of the Deal at least 3 times in preparation.
Oh.
And
I mean, that sounds impressive, but do you read at a normal rate? Because, I mean, the Nang Chen.
I still have to read it at a normal rate.
Oh, okay.
That's not one of the Nang Chen powers.
Okay. That's good to know.
In fact, I read a little slower. It's weird. So I was back and forth negotiations, but I did it. I sealed the deal, Griff. I used the Art of the Deal, and I'm proud to say that I have gotten the spirit of Mr. Charles Bronson to represent this product that's gonna, Griff. There's a lot. As we learned just this past couple days.
You're really teasing this one, man.
There's a lot of divisiveness going on in our country right now.
There is. It's true.
And we need to bring the people together. And what better way than sex and sex toys?
Yeah. I mean,
because anything I've learned in the past few years, there's a lot of dudes out there ain't getting laid. Dude, and they're angry.
I started a dating website, Red Doing the Blue. And, you sign up as a Republican or a Democrat, a red or a blue, and you bang somebody on the other side. We're blowing up. I got to tell you, I had to jump on that train too fast, so I didn't get to run it by you and the Merman crew, but It's going.
I guess what I'd have to say is obsolete. Then we don't need to talk about it. I guess you figured it out.
Oh no, it takes plenty. We're gonna learn. It takes a lot to get people together.
Sure. I don't know what to say to that. So without further ado, we're gonna stretch this out a little longer, and we're gonna give you a great product. You're gonna love it. It's called Bronson brand sex toys. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Charles Bronson. You may remember me from the Dirty Dozen, the Death Wish series, or the obituary pages, since I've been dead for 15 years. But when I heard what Merman After Dark, a subsidiary of Merman Industries, were getting up to, I knew I had to rise from the grave. And when you hear what I have to tell you, I won't be the only thing rising. Now, sex always came easy for me. It was never a matter of if, but when. But not everyone is me. Some people need a little help. That's why I agreed to work in conjunction with Merman After Dark to design a line of sexual aids inspired by my many cinematic masterpieces, called the Bronson brand. Each toy was conceived, designed, molded, and packaged with my input and supervision, ensuring when it says Bronson, it's a genuine Bronson. Full disclosure. Getting a woman in the mood for sex has never been a problem for me. I can get a woman so wet I sometimes have to go in wearing a scuba suit. But I understand this may not be the case for mere mortal men. Has this ever happened to you? You're in bed with your special lady friend, revved up and ready to go, but she's like the Sahara, harsh, dry, and uninviting. Don't worry, friend. I got your solution with a state-of-the-art sex lubricant I like to call Cold Sweat. Cold Sweat was engineered to be as slick and slippery as the murderous scum that breathes through our ineffective court system daily. But that's not all. I've added both a heating and cooling agent into the mix to enhance your sexual experience. Cold Sweat goes on with the fiery intensity of hot lead going through the body of some lawless punk, but finishes you off with the cooling sensation of death itself. With Cold Sweat, you say goodbye to the dry. And just for the hell of it, I'll throw in a bottle of Eau de Bronson, a powerful musk designed to smell like yours truly. With the subtle sense of cigarette smoke, whiskey, and gunpowder, if this doesn't get your girl salivating, you may as well give up. Impotence. Until recently, I had never heard of this problem, but apparently it's an affliction affecting a significant portion of the male population. It's as if you're at war with yourself. That's why I call this next amazing product the Battle of the Bulge. A battle you'll win, my friend. The Battle of the Bulge, or B.O.B. for short, is a pill created by a team of scientists that will not only make your pecker as hard as a barrel of a .45, but is guaranteed to add at least 5 inches of length and 2 inches of girth. Yes, it will turn your pea shooter into a bazooka or your money back. B.O.B. contains the finest natural herbs and minerals from the exotic Orient. What are these herbs and minerals? Sorry, pal. If I told you that, I'd have to kill you. That secret is strictly Kinjite. Battle of the Bulge works so well, it'll have your sex partner waving the flag of surrender. Incels. Who are they? What are they? Where do they come from? After using the Incelsia 5000, the only question you'll have is, who cares? The Incelsia 5000 is the crowning achievement in high-tech engineering. It was painstakingly designed to resemble the deranged sex toy seen in my hit movie 10 to Midnight for that outwardly retro feel. But that's where the comparisons end, my friend. The Incelsia 5000's inner workings were developed by a team of ex-NASA engineers to ensure the most orgasmic experience possible. The suction power alone is worth that price of purchase, but the extra pulsating vibrations seal the deal. The Incelsia 5000 never says no matter how pathetically awkward you are. With this baby, you'll no longer have the time nor the inclination to write angry internet tirades against women. you'll be too busy jacking it to care. I guarantee it. Perhaps extreme butt play is your thing. Well, pal, your old friend Chuck has you covered. I had my forearm in hand, holding my trusty Wildey Magnum, of course, molded to create something I like to call the Death Wish. Because, brother, if you can accommodate this baby in your keister, you may have a death wish. I and the good people at Merman Industries are not responsible for any deaths or maimings that occur while using this product. And ladies, don't think Bronson brand sex toys are made just for men. I understand that a lot of you have husbands that just can't get the job done. Well, 10 Inches of Midnight is here to complete that job. What is 10 Inches of Midnight? It's big. It's black. It's a Bronson. And just like its movie's namesake, it takes no prisoners. 10 Inches of Midnight is a 10-inch dildo made from the same vulcanized rubber used to make the race car tires for the famous Petty family. If this doesn't get your motor running, girls, there's probably no hope for you. Cunnilingus. Sure, I've heard of it, but I never had any use for it. You want me to put my mouth where? But hey, the times they are a-changin', and the ladies are now looking for a little oral action. That's where the Mr. Majestic Magical Mustache Ride comes in. Merman After Dark have hired the finest sculptors from Madame Tussauds Wax Museum to mold the perfect replica of my luscious leathery looks, complete with all the various cracks and crevices that we all know and love. But that's not all. Each hair of my luxurious mustache, that's right, all 12 of them, are painstakingly applied by hand, ensuring that wispy quality you need to tickle your taint while riding my face to orgasmic ecstasy. And if you're one of them gays, have at it too, brother. This toy is gender neutral. What do I care? I'm dead. Sure, we all want to know what it's like to make love to me. Hell, even I wonder what it feels like sometimes. But let's get real. I'm only one man, and that probably won't happen. Or won't it? That's right. I had the fellas at Merman After Dark make a plaster mold of my penis to create something I like to call the Braunschlong. The Braunschlong is the closest thing you're gonna get to the Bronson Johnson or your money back. Each individual piece is hand-painted to get the proper veining and coloration down pat. There's even a few gray pubes attached to give it that unique touch you can't find anywhere else. The Braunschlong. It's like the greatest sex you ever had, without the awkward feeling after I walk out on you. Each of these great products can be purchased individually or in a set I like to call the Magnificent Seven. And if you act now and buy the set, I'll throw in completely free of charge a handsome carrying container called the Kinjitache case, made from the finest Mongolian leather, the same leather making up most of my face, I might add. This case is appropriate for the boardroom and the bedroom. The interior is comprised of a lush velvet with individual compartments for each of your Bronson brand sex aids. The Kinjitache case is the perfect container for all your forbidden subjects. So there you have it, folks. The path to your sexual nirvana is just a mouse click away. Go to mermanafterdark.com for more information on the many fine and affordable products available. Stop being a pathetic sex creep and start being a vigilante of love. Bronson brand sex toys. Works every time.
Holy hot damn. That's uncanny.
It's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to unite the people, bring them together.
I can't believe that, A, you're channeling dead people. Did you happen to talk to Burt Reynolds, ask him how he feels about our Sharky's Revenge?
He's really upset about the low download numbers. He's like, I deserve more than that. And I agree.
Yeah. And he's also probably going to be upset that I got the name of the movie wrong, too. So, sorry, Burt. If you talk, I don't know how to do this dead people talk thing.
Well, it's, you have a screaming ego. That's more. It's not as cerebral.
I'm just good at ripping people off on T-shirts. That's my thing. Oh man, there's a lot of history to this movie, Murray. Do you want to hear some of this history?
Sure.
This was originally intended to be a Chuck movie, but he felt like all the violence made it too negative.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because I'd found a Chuck movie. It's gonna blow your fucking mind. We're gonna talk about in the future. Silent Rage.
Silent Rage.
Not only is there a lot of violence, Chuck actually fucks somebody in this movie, and there's nudity. Female
Chuck nudity?
Female nudity.
Okay.
Which you never see. At least we've never seen any Chuck movie we've covered.
Yeah.
He usually keeps the pants on.
So this is true. Like you might see a little bit of deep V on Chuck, but nothing more. Ever since that Bruce Lee movie, he doesn't really take his shirt off.
Because he had to airy back.
Yeah. Okay.
So he did.
He did. I know. It's just that's not a good reason.
Okay.
Let's move on. John Jacoby, the guy who wrote this.
What the fuck you said?
Don Jacoby.
Okay.
The guy who wrote this movie.
Yeah.
It's
but you just said it like I'm supposed to know who that is. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Exactly, because it was a pseudonym.
Okay, then who was it?
Michael Edmondson. You
I
know that name?
No, I don't know the fuck that is.
You should. He wrote Life Force.
What?
Yep.
You mean one of our best underappreciated episodes, Life Force, which just passed the 20 download mark, which I'm so fucking excited about? That Life Force?
That Life Force.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of Death Wish 3, so there you have it.
So, of course, because it's a Death Wish, there is a rape scene in it. It was played by the girlfriend of the director at the time, Sandy Grizzle.
What?
This is straight from the...
Wait, there was only... there's
two.
Oh, okay.
There was the
near
one,
the end?
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it was that one.
Okay, I was going to say, I know the other rape victim, and it isn't Sandy Gristle.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. But yeah, so there was two.
But she was an attempted rape victim.
It's true, she didn't actually.
Because Chuck saved her.
She went on to try to sue the director, saying that he used her as a sex slave.
Wow.
So that was pretty fucking crazy.
That's a bummer.
Oh, let's see. What else we got here? The original screenplay included a male-on-male prison rape scene.
Was a plunger involved?
There was a plunger involved, yes. How did you... You're so... You know.
Back to foreshadow.
But that scene was found in another Bronson movie.
Let me guess.
Kinjite. There's so many weird connections happening with this movie.
Oh, wait. Oh, are you talking about the beginning of Kinjite?
Yeah.
That was supposed to happen in Death Wish 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah. So I was telling Murray about this one earlier. Originally we're going to release this movie with the Roman numeral 3, I. But apparently it tested so poorly in a survey that they opted to switch it out for the number 3.
Well, we need American numbers. This is America. We want no foreigner numbers.
And of course, if you bother to look at the Instagram, I posted a picture. This movie actually had a video game for the Commodore 64. It had 2 other weird consoles on there, but I can't remember their names.
Find it.
Commodore
I want to
64.
beat that game too.
I'll find it for you. I don't know if there's beating it. I watched an hour of it, and I was like, what is happening? You're just, like, going in screens, and it's super violent. Like, it's pretty graphic for being such a dated game. But yeah. You like those facts? Those are good facts.
Sure, yeah.
I slaved all day and night on Wikipedia, just kind of picking those out.
Oh, I thought you just got the trivia off IMDb.
Sometimes, but no, not that trivial. They didn't get that far into it. So it's movie time, isn't it?
Let's get to it, man. Fucking Charles. Paul Kersey. Back in New York. Back in the New York groove, as Ace Frehley would say. He's from Kiss.
It's Kiss? I thought it might have been Kiss. It sounded Kiss.
And so he's coming to visit his army buddy, Charlie, even though we know he's a pacifist from the first movie. And they point out that he was a pacifist. He was a conscientious objector. So we're seeing this great. I don't know. We still haven't decided. This might be our intro music to the episode. I don't know. There's this great funky.
I think it has to be. It's so.
It kind of reminds me of Seinfeld.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
I think
that's where Seinfeld.
This
got the
movie
idea.
is so influential. And so he's coming into town. He's like on a bus or some shit, and he's like looking out, smiling. Back to New York.
Man, he's
been gone for 10 years. They figure like they've moved on. He's
Plumber Joe or whatever. He's every guy.
Yeah,
person.
Plumber Joe.
I can't remember what.
You're stuck on plungers for some reason. It's Joe the plumber, by the way. And so we're going back between him and Joy coming back to New York, and his buddy Charlie getting the shit kicked out of him. There's about 20 ass whippings in the first 10 minutes of this fucking movie.
And they don't stick to the same story, the same character for more than 3 minutes. So you get a minute of Chuck coming in on the bus, and then you get a minute of his buddy Charlie that is coming to visit. And I love this scene because it's these 4 guys, they're all arranging it. Oh, there's one girl. Three guys, one girl. And they're getting
one of them played by Bill S. Preston Esquire from Bill and Ted.
And so they're going to break into Charlie. God, I hate that his buddy's name is Charlie.
Well, he doesn't last that long, so you don't need to.
It's a good point. They bring him up later, but we won't, because fuck him. So they break into
that's a war hero. Respect.
Yeah, sorry.
And we know that because there's fucking medals on every surface of his apartment.
And everybody was like, oh, you knew Charlie? He was a war hero. Everybody reminds everybody of the credentials.
Yeah.
So
they have to say thank him for his service.
Always. So the 4 of them break in. They start just pounding the shit out of him
because he refuses to pay protection money.
Apparently,
fuck you! I'm a war veteran.
I'm not gonna pay for your protection. And I love this part because it's as they're beating him up, Giggler's there, of course, and Bill Esquire is there, and he falls asleep on his sofa. And the Giggler turns around and is just wake the fuck up! We're killing this guy.
I think he's supposed to be fucked up high. I mean, he's not just tired.
He looked pretty tired.
Yeah, okay.
I thought maybe all the excitement, the adrenaline crash was happening there.
He's so amped up to beat up an old man, and then he just crashed.
Well, this is their life, man. I mean, you got to think about it. You know, when you're working a hard day, 5 days a week, sometimes you just got to crash. It's got a hard job. So Buddy dies.
And just as he dies, Paul Kersey finally shows up. Just when you need him, he's not there. And then literally 2 seconds later, the cops show up.
Yeah, he's checking his buddy's pulse, and then the cops are there.
Charlie goes up and he says something. He's like, remember where I had something or something.
No, he says, take care of my things.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the big, what's the Rosebud mystery here? What things?
Yeah, because we'll get into it later. You think it's something, but then it's another guy's things that...
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, then the cops, they're just like, hey, I don't want to do any paperwork. There's a guy next to a dead body. He did it.
Clearly. He's got a gun in his hand.
And then they just beat the shit out of Charles Bronson.
Dude, so they beat the shit out of him in Charlie's house, his dead buddy. He's got to look down at his dead buddy, getting the shit kicked out of him.
First of all, Paul isn't even resisting arrest at all. He's just concerned about his buddy, and they just immediately kick the shit out of him.
They don't even take the gun from him. He's got the gun in his hand the whole time, and they're just going to town. It's pretty much a reminiscent scene of his buddy Charlie getting the shit kicked out of him by the gang.
Maybe
They're saying police are gang, gangs are gangs.
All the same.
They're all the same. Doesn't matter what uniform.
So now we switch to the police precinct, and they're beating the shit out of him again. They took the gun away. And they put him in a chair. So they're here, I don't want you to fall down.
I'm going to blow your mind in a minute here.
Well, blow it right now.
No, keep going.
Okay, so they're just, I was just going to say, they're just beating the hell out of him.
A chief comes in, and he's like, I know you.
Captain Schreiker.
Yeah, Schreiker?
Schreiker. And, he's basically a tough guy, Rudy Giuliani type.
He looks more like a principal from... an 80s sitcom.
He probably played a principal.
Yeah.
I recognize the guy. I don't know who he is.
Yeah,
but.
He's just got that stern, bald look who actually really just wants a friend.
And he thinks civil liberties for pussies.
That's pretty
He thinks you have to earn rights. You're not born with them.
Yep. And he's like, I'm gonna book you. I'm not gonna read you your rights. I'm not gonna give you bail. And wow, I really just don't give a fuck about you. I know you.
I'm going to lock you up and never release you again.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to charge you with anything. You're just going to jail for the rest of your fucking life.
So the next scene is Paul Kersey putting all of his items into a bag because, they're getting confiscated by the police. He puts his gun in the bag. He had his gun on him the whole time. He got it back.
He he is a law-abiding citizen, man. He carries it for protection.
Oh God, we got to put him in a high school someday, and he's got to keep all those school shootings
So
happening.
they throw him into a what?
It's just like a holding cell.
Holding cell. That's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what it is. And we got the
He's got
all the usual suspects you see in a movie.
Yeah.
Holding cell, like punk rock guy, biker dude.
Yep. And Paul's going on 80 or so he's got that small bladder at this point.
Yeah, he's got to take a shit or piss. I guess he said bladder.
I don't know.
Think he's got both.
I don't know.
But some fucking shithead ripped the toilet off. Like, what the fuck? It's like, is he probably the same guy that pisses on the seat? Like, come on, people got to use this fucking thing. All right? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Who goes beyond pissing on the seat and like fucking pisses all over the walls too, and like on
my
the toilet
favorite
paper.
is the people that like don't flush the toilet because they're so germ phobic, and then they don't even wash their fucking hands when they get done.
Ugh.
It's like you're fucking filth. All right, flush the fucking toilet.
Just flush it for the next guy. Wash your hands.
So this guy, he's proud of himself because he was the guy who ripped the toilet out.
Yeah,
like, I did it.
He looks like Bam Bam from our fucking Snake.
I was
going to
say King Kong Bundy Jr.
Yeah, okay,
He's like a bald fat guy, basically.
cool.
And Paul he's like, I've had enough of getting my ass kicked. I'm going to kick some ass.
Yeah.
And he beats the shit out of this guy.
He beats him in 2 moves. He like kicks him in the gut, and then he gets him in a headlock and runs his head through the prison bars. And that process just destroys that guy's head. He just starts profusely bleeding everywhere. But the blood made a good lubrication. They got his head out super easily.
They deserved it for ruining a toilet. It's only one toilet, guys. Come on.
I know. And no one else is offended.
And meanwhile, our villain, Fraker, who was played by the guy who was Richie Cunningham's brother Chuck, who mysteriously disappeared from the first season of Happy Days. We never talked about again. I like to think that's Chuck. And what happened was Chuck was, he hurt his knee because he was a basketball player in college in the Happy Days. He hurt his knee, lost a scholarship, fell on hard times.
No way.
Got into drugs, so he got kicked out of the house in Milwaukee.
He did not
moved
age.
to New York and became a crime boss.
This makes perfect sense to me.
So, Fraker, he either has one of the biggest middle parts I've ever seen in my life or reverse mohawk because he just has it shaved right down the middle of his head, shaved bald.
Yeah, and it's not short hair. It's long, and he slicks both sides back.
He's really frightening looking.
I love that.
And he's like a ginger on top of it, so he's really frightening.
Well, you mentioned a Cunningham, so, he's got to look somewhat
got
like
the
Ron
freckles.
Howard. Yeah. But I love that scene where he combs it back with 2 combs because he's got the split, so he can't do it with one.
But he locks eyes with Paul.
Oh, man.
And he's just like...
Romance is in the air.
And, Paul... I don't know if it was romance. Paul,
he
just knows this guy's scum. I know what scum is. That guy's scum. And this other guy, he's probably a little scared. Because, come on, he just saw an 80-year-old man beat the shit out of King Kong Bundy. But that's it. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah, it's true. So, we get a cut back to the cop, Mr. Schreiker. And he's, of course, talking to, a lawyer or something. Or, I think it was the police. And
she was a defense attorney, like a public defendant, or
yeah,
what it's called.
And she's trying to explain, that man has rights. And he's
like, I don't give a fuck about your fucking rights.
Yeah. But I thought he walked into, a police meeting where they were like, well, we just can't do anything. We're not allowed to murder people.
He's like, crime is up and all this shit. And
everything is trending in the wrong direction. And he's like,
I got an idea.
So he's about to go down and get our buddy Paul Kersey. But, of course, Fraker, he sends 2 of his goons over to get Kersey. And so he has that moment because Kersey's bundled up on the ground. He's curled up in a ball. And
why was he get hit? Why was he sleeping? I don't even
remember. He just had his head down. He was doing a cowboy thing where he was just trying to look mysterious. He had his hair over his eye too. And the guys try to get him, and he throws them with just the simplest gesture. Those 2 giant dudes just fell over.
fucking Charles fucking Bronson, man.
But they do like immediately rebound and like, you're 80, we're gonna hold you down now. And Fraker gets in there and gets a couple punches in.
Right.
And then lets Kersey get back up, and Kersey's just like, fuck you, man. Gives him a fucking huge slug across the face. And that's when Stryker arrives.
Does he? I mean, I thought Fraker, doesn't Fraker, he gets released because we live in a pussy court system where the most vile criminals are just, it's a revolving door.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the fuck is this fucking Fraker guy affording like the best defense attorney? He's like a fucking street gang guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he does it.
He does, yeah, Stryker or Fraker gets out first.
Right. And then he's like, hey, Kersey. He's like, come see me. He's like, I'm going to kill a little old lady for you. Because he's just so, once again, like a lot of Golden Globes, there's a lot of cat and mouse, a lot of mind games going on. Mm-hmm. This guy, Fraker, he's like Hannibal Lecter if Hannibal Lecter was intimidating. And he's just like, hey, man, come to Sutter and Belmont, asshole, see what you got. And then he just walks out because, of course, he's like probably in there for like murdering 5 people, but the pussy liberal system like let him out. Meanwhile, law-abiding, gun-owning American like Paul Kersey is like has not charged with nothing so far, and he's still locked up.
They're later on talking about how they've got nothing on Fraker. They're like, the guy's cleaner than you, and it's like he was just in a holding cell.
But we learn he knows how to talk people into doing his shit for him.
Oh yeah.
He's like a criminal mastermind.
Well,
so he's released. So then Stryker just got chewed out. He's just like, fuck, man, all these goddamn statistics. Can't I just kill people? Why do I gotta follow laws? And he's like, idea.
I know just what I'm gonna do.
I remember this guy. This guy ain't Joe the plumber. This guy's Paul motherfucking Kersey, the Scourge in New York from 10 years ago.
Was that the name I was going for, Joe the plumber?
Yes. You said Plumber Joe. Yeah, the same thing, basically.
I get it backwards. Okay.
And so he...
Do you like what's about to happen here? You've got fucking Stryker who calls the shots for the gang, and you got a police chief who's about to...
No, Fraker calls the shots for the gang.
Okay.
Stryker...
I hate that the name is Stryker and Fraker. I hate that.
It's pretty irritating,
I thought the gang leader's name was Stryker, and then I just called this chief, so I'm just going to go back to calling him Chief.
Oh, he's Stryker.
That's fine. You can call him Stryker all day. I'm calling him Chief.
I'll call him by his name. You're right.
I'm calling him Chief.
He's not a police chief. He's a captain.
Oh, fuck.
But anyway.
Somebody called him Chief.
Some peon. Anyway, we're getting really into some boring shit. So let's get back to the action. So he calls Paul Kersey back. And he's like, I know the fuck, you're Paul Kersey, man. You're the vigilante in New York from 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're that guy.
And then he pulls up all these clippings. Like it revealed that Paul's been like traveling the country killing people.
Yeah,
he's the Punisher.
He's got a huge. He's like the Punisher's great.
The Punisher
uncle.
Actually was based partly on Death Wish, the first Death Wish.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he's been traveling the country, murdering punks who deserve it.
Yeah,
and he's like, 2 birds, 1 stone. You're going to start killing people from me because I don't like doing paperwork.
I'm sick of this shit.
And I need to get these crime levels lower, even though murder rate would be through the roof. But the rest of them, the petty crime will go down.
I get the next tier of my pension if I get this number down to 2% by the end of the year.
So he's like, let me tell you something. I got you on nothing, but I'm going to be nice and let you go anyway. As long as you kill some people for me. Go into that war zone, because Sutter and Belmont is like a war zone.
Yeah.
It's all bombed out, looks like shit.
Even like his buddy Charlie's place, like you look out the window, there's no roads anymore. It's just like rubble. It's dirt roads and rubble. Like, did you notice that?
I have a feeling like Golden Globe has probably bought like a neighborhood.
That was London. That was
London?
That was not London, but it was somewhere over in I can't remember.
England.
It
probably was a bombed out area.
It actually was.
It makes sense.
There was an issue with it.
So he's like, Paul's like, fuck yeah, I'm all about that.
You're letting me loose. That is my attempt of a Bronson voice.
Loose.
so you're letting me loose? And he's like, I'm letting you loose. So he goes, he's getting all of his stuff back out. I want to point out in the background, did you notice the fucking wanted poster for a horse?
No, I did not see that.
There was a giant wanted poster for a horse, and they passed.
That horse was a murderer.
Probably. There was at least 5 different postings of it because I saw it behind the defense lawyer in one scene. I saw it behind Kersey in one. Fucking horse, man.
So while he's walking out, he meets the love interest, Catherine Davis, who's a defense attorney.
Yeah.
And she is warm for his form. She likes what she's looking at. And he's, of course, the player. He's like, hey, baby, what's up?
I think she's just like, man, I've been looking to get like 10% off on all the restaurants I go to, and this guy clearly has an AARP.
Likes to eat early.
She likes to eat early.
She likes to eat dinner at 4.
And she wants to get that senior citizen discount.
And she's like, that's the perfect guy for me.
So, age difference. Ballpark it.
Well, it's a classic Charles Bronson movie. Like, and he's old enough to be his daughter, basically.
Easily.
It's his love interest. I was shocked that it wasn't, because what you don't know about Charles Bronson is he married a TV actress named Jill Ireland, like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And she was literally his love interest in every fucking movie he was ever. She was his love interest in Death Wish 2.
Oh, really?
And because she couldn't get any jobs, so he would get her like a job on every movie he did.
Okay.
So like she was practically the female lead in every one of his fucking movies. Shockingly, not this one, but yeah.
Well,
I was shocked she wasn't, and she was close. She was still younger than him, but it was a little at least closer to his age.
Yeah, this one, the age difference might be about 50. I'd put her in like her mid-30s, maybe early 30s.
Charles Bronson was not 80 years old in this movie.
And
he looked like he was 80, but he wasn't 80. He's like 60 in this movie.
Bronson's okay.
He died like fucking like in 2005.
I'll give you 68.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care if the
So yeah, she's like, you've got a case here. We could sue the pants off these people, and he's just like,
not interested.
Not interested
because he's just got the ticket. He got the golden ticket to murder people.
I know.
So
he's like, I've got murder to do. Like, I'm so excited. I've been handed a blank check, and I'm gonna go home alone, my house, and murder people.
So we cut back to Fraker. What's Fraker up to? Well, apparently he's been. I mean, he was in a holding cell. He wasn't in prison. He was in a holding cell.
Yeah, he was
but in that like 24 hours he was in a holding cell. Everyone's trying to take over his position.
That's right. Everybody is just like, hey, I was just taking care of things for you. Don't worry about
I think
it,
the guy's
boss.
name was Chaco.
Yeah.
Was his name. And he was like making his move.
Yeah.
And
he's like buying a bunch of drugs.
I think we kind of alluded to it, but the whole you can tell these people are in a gang because they all wear it's like they have a red like vertical stripe on their head and then 2 diagonal black stripes across it.
No, you got it backwards. They have equal with one or no, you're right. The red's on an angle and then the black stripe.
And like Fraker's got the best one because he has a red stripe that starts from the bridge of his nose and goes all the way to the back of his head.
Because he's got that perfect bald straight down.
That reverse mohawk. And he's like, I gotta set shit straight. These people are gonna turn on me. So he whips out a switchblade and he goes, "This is a sticker, and you're the sticky."
And he
just stabbed
him in the throat.
Well,
it was brutal.
That's what you got to do to keep your place in the gang. I mean, shit, dude, you're gone for fucking 24 hours and we're ready to replace you.
Yeah, since like we had such a hiatus between episodes here, like I ended up watching this movie 3 times, and every time I came across that scene, I had to close my eyes. I can't. That's too violent for me. I can't deal with that. It's too believable.
Yeah,
I got hit really hard in the throat one time, and it gives me flashbacks every time. I thought I died.
You have PTSD over this.
I do. Yes.
What happened?
Me and my friends were fucking around in a pool, and somebody jumped off a roof and landed like somehow directly on my throat, and I fell to the bottom of the pool. I was like, "I'm dead. That's it. I'm dead." And then like 5 seconds later, I was like, "I'm not dead. I should probably go back up now."
If somebody jumped on my neck, I'd rather be dead than be paralyzed because that probably could have happened.
Yeah, and it was the front. It wasn't the back of it.
Still,
it was frightening.
Okay, so we cut back to Paul. He's like feeling the place out. He goes back to Charlie's apartment. He meets Bennett.
Bennett, that was his name?
Bennett, yes.
God, I didn't catch it.
Who's another old war buddy who also, I'm not positive because I was too lazy to look it up, but I'm pretty sure he was one of the hostages in Delta Force.
You know what? I think you're right. The whole time I was like, I know you from somewhere. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, I was friends with Charlie too. I'm a war veteran.
Yeah.
To let you know.
Korea.
These fucking scumbag kids. It used to be a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
And now it's gone to hell.
And I think Paul's like, whoa, why don't you get out of here?
Why don't you get out of here?
He's like, I got a business. I'm a clock man.
I fix clocks.
I've got this other business. He's got a cool-ass apartment, too.
It's huge. It's got the huge ceilings.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Well, if you want to live in this fucking shithole like neighborhood, I guess you can get some decent...
Yeah.
He was the original hipster. He was trying to like gentrify this neighborhood.
Wow. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to go there against hipsters.
Well.
They're people too.
Okay.
Allegedly. So, I don't know.
You don't know? Come on. You know that he's meeting up with them. He's telling them. He's giving him the lay of the land.
Okay.
They're looking out the window. He's pointing out all the gang members. And he's like,
right.
and he's like, you see this one? And he's like, hey, I saw him the other day. And he's like, that's the giggler. He calls himself that because he giggles when he steals stuff. It's like, okay. Thanks for the detail. Like,
well, he can really run.
Yeah, he can really run.
He pointed it out numerous times.
That's like the only detail they give, though. Like, they made one character out of the gang interesting outside of Fracker. I hate him. Fraker. But yeah,
if he was Fracker, he'd be a guy that like gets gas out of the
ground.
Yeah, he's Fraker.
Maybe he went on to Frack.
And okay, yeah. So yeah, Giggler, he's great. He's the Usain Bolt of thieves. He's so fast. Yeah.
And so, he meets like he meets like a couple other people in the building. I
want to say the guy's name's Manny. I have no idea. The Rodriguez guy.
The married couple?
Yes.
Yeah. I just remember him as Rodriguez.
I know, yeah, his name is Rodriguez, but I think it was Manny.
Yeah.
And we also meet Star Trek alert, you Star Trek nerds.
Next gen
nerds, the fake Star Trek. We learn that Deanna Troi is in this movie. She's in brownface. She's playing a Hispanic woman. I mean, she's clearly white. She's got a little bronzer on her. She's like, hey, I'm a Puerto Rican now.
Yeah.
And I think she has like 2 lines, and one of them is "Don't rate me."
Yeah.
and so
it's time for Paul's. He's already putting ideas into his brain. What am I going to do? Well, he's going to lay a trap first. So he goes out and he gets himself a brand new car, pays for it in cash. He drives over to the post office and he gets himself a little P.O. box. And he sends away for, what?
Was it a Cadillac? I think it was a Cadillac he got. I don't know.
It was something fancy. And so he leaves it out, parked in front. There is no street, so he just parks it like on the stoop of the building. No big deal.
You're right.
Yeah. So he's going to go back in, and you're like, what was this scene for? Why? Okay, anyways. So he goes back in. He's meeting more of the tenants. He walks by like that old Jewish couple, and he meets back up with Bennett.
This whole building is full of stereotypes. Like
it really.
They have like a menorah out, so guys wearing a yarmulke. They have the hammer at home. Jewish people. Yeah, Puerto Rican people, this, that,
It's fucked up. They didn't do even the slightest bit of
and
research.
They had a bunch of rabbi pictures. Like I don't know, like
I know the set dressing for this movie, the horse wanted poster, the rabbi hand oil painted rabbi print. What was happening with the sets in this movie? They were amazing. Probably the best set work Golden Globus ever did. So, he tells Bennett. What your neighbors got down there? I can't do it. I just do Chicago.
Your neighbors got going on down there?
And he's like, well, let's go find out. You'll love them. I don't remember their names. Silvermans, we're going to call them. Okay. And he's like, they're great people. They'll love you. And so he's like, 1 second, let me go put on a suit. So he puts on a suit, comes back down.
He comes down, he's like, That smells amazing. And she's
Yeah.
like, it's cabbage. I'm like, cabbage doesn't smell amazing.
It was stuffed cabbage.
It doesn't smell.
So it's at least there might be a meat aroma happening. Along with the cabbage smell. I thought it was stuffed peppers. It was stuffed peppers.
No, it was cabbage. It was cabbage.
Okay.
I know that.
No, I don't.
That's the only thing I remember from this movie.
I don't think you do. I think it was cat.
No, you're wrong.
Anyways.
You're so wrong.
So they're gonna go in. They're gonna have this fucking lovely ass meal. Hey, I noticed your rabbi paintings. Those are beautiful. Your food is wonderful. Just fast friends.
Right.
And then you hear some ruckus outside.
And they're we forgot to point out when he gets the car, they're like, oh, "What's that for?"
Oh, okay, yeah,
bait. And
So
just like the most perfect bait, it worked because they caught some rats. We got two scumbags. One stealing his radio out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's got the hood up. I don't know what the fuck he's trying to steal. Fan belt.
No idea.
And he's like,
Fan
hey,
belt.
excuse me. That's my car. And like, fuck you!
This was probably one of my favorite scenes of this movie.
Well, yeah, it was one of my favorites too because they're like, "Fuck you, man! What are you gonna do?" And he pulls out a gun and just fucking blows these two guys away and goes back to his fucking stuffed cabbage dinner.
Adjusts his tie, goes back in. Like, I don't know if this movie came out before that Indiana Jones where he nonchalantly shoots the guy.
Came out after.
After, I think they might have borrowed that one because it was very akin to that. So, trap's been laid. He's already caught 2 rats. Goes back inside. He's just murdered 2 people. Nobody cares. They're just like,
I wouldn't if I lived in that neighborhood.
hey, what just happened there? And he's like, that's a warning sign.
Did he? I don't think they even...
They asked him. He told him, like, is it like a warning sign or it's a message or something?
A car backfired.
My car backfired. I can't do this Bronson voice.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one. And then he's like, let me teach you guys something. And then this is a bold statement, but I would say the Home Alone series would not have happened if not for Death Wish 3.
No, it's absolutely true.
Because he sets up all these, what was Kevin? Was that the kid's name? Kevin traps all through the apartment building.
Yeah.
And they're all, it was like, this is like a serious movie, but there's also a lot of weird comedic moments that really did not fit into the movie.
There's weird comedic movies. Like, I'll go on a diatribe here for 1 second. Bronson was all worried about doing this movie because it was violent. He's like, I machine gun people down while they ride by on motorcycles. Like, this is not acceptable.
I can't believe it. You sure you didn't read that right? Because I would think this would be not violent enough.
No, he really was upset with this movie for being too violent. And yet, every Death Wish movie is based on rape. He's just like, that's okay.
It's one of the ultimate crimes you want to pay back somebody for.
I guess he's like, that's how I get into my character. It's like, you see that? I get triggered and I fucking just nonchalantly murder people.
So,
he's setting up
he
his
sets
traps.
up this trap. It's like it's like a Three Stooges trap. It's like a board, and it hooks up to your window. Oh wait! First he does one.
It's in he does his place first because he sees the footprint.
Yeah, he sees a dirty footprint in his bathroom. He's like, "Hey, I wipe my feet all the time." Man. And he's like,
I take my shoes off at the door.
So he knows somebody broke in. So he goes, ding! A little light bulb goes off above his head.
They might as well have thrown that in.
It looked like he got like a half of a door. And he just put some nails through it. I mean, and then he just put it right underneath the windowsill.
He did
So then he comes back from the stuffed cabbage dinner, and he sees there's like blood everywhere, and he just smiles at himself.
He's having so much fun. Like, he's like, I'm so glad that guy let me loose.
And then I think they click back to the gang, and they show a guy with like a fucking rag around his foot. Like, oh, man, he fucked my foot up. And like, we got to do something about this guy.
For sure. Like, he met with the chief. And then the chief tells him, like, hey, I need you to do this and stop doing that. And he's like, I'm going to do whatever I want. You set me loose.
He's like, I need you to, like, chill out for a while. And
he's only killed 2 people.
And he's like, nope, I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah. So we do, we find out about the guy who's, they're all getting beat up by him. The townsfolk are fucking loving it.
They're emboldened by
what we're on to the next day. It's daylight. like Paul is just walking around the streets, no big deal. He's got his nice sweater on.
He's trying
slacks.
to entrap people. He's like he's using himself as bait.
He's honeypotting. I get it.
Yeah, and I don't remember there's so many times he does it. What does he do this time?
So I believe this is the one where he comes up to the corner, and a guy's trying to like the one dude who had like. He always wore like a little halter top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big muscle dude.
He was ripped. He was trying to steal the purse from that old lady, and she started fighting back. I think that was this part.
Okay.
And he was just like, not in my town.
Yeah, and then he punches him and knocks this like guy who's like half his, like,
and then
a quarter of his age.
Yeah.
And then this little kid with Jerry Crow goes, yeah!
He's like hiding behind a tree, and he pops out.
The kid is always hiding behind something. And then Bronson gives him the old fist pump, like, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then so like everyone's finally, and they're like, we don't have to be scared of these people. We don't have, he's inspiring them. And
right.
They're like, they can murder for themselves. They don't need to rely on the cops to do that.
Exactly. You guys just have to fucking kill these people all by yourself.
So, as a thank you for that great stuffed cabbage dinner, Bronson, because the old Jewish guy, I'm going to say Saul.
I think you're going to go a little far here.
Am I?
Yeah.
But they set up the trap, right?
Well, he's going to go back home.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's going to go back home, and this is when Catherine has tracked him down.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and she shows up in that taxi. He's feeling pretty proud of himself because he's encouraged the neighborhood, and he's like, you need to get out of here. That was terrible.
Okay.
And
she's like, look, I can't stop thinking about you. You're so fucking hot, you geriatric motherfucker. You.
I want that fucking 10% senior citizen discount on my eggs.
She's like, look, I have to date you. I have to go on a date. He's like, oh, right, we have to. And he's like, look, I know this great place. They got an early bird meal. We'll be out of there by 5. And he's like, I like the soda. I like to eat. And he's
like, what day? Friday.
He's like, let me think about that. Okay.
Friday works.
I don't have any stuffed cabbage that day.
I wasn't going to hang out
and she's
with
just like, you can
Silverman.
see, she just turns around and goes, yes! And then jumps in her cab.
Yeah. So as she's leaving, this is where we get the shot of the taxi driving away. But
Stryker?
Fraker was noticing.
Oh, okay.
Because they show the taxi.
All
she
right.
looks out the window. She sees Fraker. Fraker sees her. And you're like, oh, this is not going to go well.
And he's just like, mind games.
Mind games. So where do we go from here? Let's see.
So then now we get to where he sets the trap. They keep breaking into the old Jewish people because they live on the first floor.
They live on
it's
the
easy to get in the window there.
The first floor is the worst floor.
And he's like, look, it's 90 degrees out, and I got to nail my window shut. What the fuck? And what am I going to do? And he's like, hey, I got a Home Alone trick for you. So he rigs a thing. This is straight out of the Three Stooges. It's like a board. He lays it flat on the floor, and it's designed that when you open the window, it flies up and smacks you in the face.
I love this scene because, like, they're hanging out in their living room or whatever, and then they hear it, and they're like,
Guy's like, oh!
They're like they're not even startled, which is another thing I notice about Mr. Silverman is that he loves violence.
He loves watching it.
He loves watching it.
He's a voyeur.
So he's all excited to hear the noise, and so they run into the kitchen. They think they caught themselves a rat, and
They did.
Paul pulls the board back down, and you see these two objects. They look like vampire fangs. They don't look like normal.
Well,
teeth.
they came out they just took about the roots. They came
Yeah.
out by the roots. That's how awesome this power was behind this board. This guy's 2 front teeth got embedded into the board.
Oh, and
But you think they would be pushed into his face, they wouldn't come out. Because it's not like the board goes up and then goes back down, or did it?
Dude, you don't know how to explain this. Golden Globus were having so much fun with this movie. They were like, here's the idea. We're going to hit the board and the teeth are going to come out. They're like, that's fucking amazing. We should write a movie about a kid who does this to 2 adults. They're like, well, we have this old guy for now, so let's do it with this old guy.
So then we learn why Paul started a P.O. box, because you got to remember, this is 1985. He has some mysterious benefactor.
Why would we have to remember it's 1985?
Because you can't do this now. You can
What are
do
you
it.
talking about, America? You do whatever you want here. Come on, man. Build us up. Where do we got?
What's building us up? So he gets he gets a package from his buddy Wildey.
Wildey, huh?
And it turns out Wildey is this giant motherfucking Magnum that has like elephant shot bullets in it.
457.
And he's like, "Hey, just look what I got in the mail." And they're all excited. The whole like building's all hyped.
I know. He brings it home, and the whole building surrounds him. And they're like, "Who's this?" And he goes, "This is Wildey." And he starts explaining the whole thing about the gun. And someone's like, "Is that like a 350 Magnum?" And he's like, "No, 350 Magnum can barely kill a human being. 457 will blow a hole through an elephant." It's like, why do you need that for a human?
Because you want to fucking kill it.
You got to send him. You got to send a message, right?
Right. And then there's like a scene where him and Ben are making bullets because he doesn't trust people to make his own bullets.
He had the 2 that came into the kit, but they're souvenirs basically. So we chuck some, and he makes his own.
Right, more powerful.
Yes, exactly. He's loading them up with he's going Home Alone again. He's got like coffee grains in there and like cayenne pepper powder. So when in case it
blows a hole through and it burns like a motherfucker.
We got to build up this Home Alone, man. So I believe we're finally going to get into it.
Yeah, if you're watching a Death Wish movie, even though I don't think one happens in Death Wish 4, but maybe I can. I don't know what I was going to say. So, yeah, we get the inevitable rape scene. So, anybody out there who's ever want to see Deanna Troi naked, watch Death Wish 3, because she gets accosted by Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Yeah.
I think the Giggler was involved. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the Giggler was involved in everything.
And they just grab her at the supermarket parking lot. And, of course, this dipshit security guy, he's like, went to take a piss break when this is happening.
Yep.
So it's being filmed, but he's just fucking around. And so she gets taken, and they take her to some secluded area in this block they all live on, and they rape her. And
they let her go. She does end up getting picked up. She gets taken to to a hospital.
Right.
And that's when they find out, because Rodriguez gets the call, and he of course goes to his new best friend Paul. He's like, "Paul, need some help." And he's like, "What's happened?" And he's like, "My wife got raped."
Well, Rodriguez is all fucked up.
Oh, Rodriguez is super fucked up.
And so Paul's talking to the doctor.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, it's no big deal. She just has a broken arm."
Just a broken arm.
And so everyone's like, "Oh, well, she got raped. At least she's going to live." And so they go to the hospital. And the doctor's like, "Psych! She's dead."
And then they try to like give you some science on it, and
she had blood clots.
Blood clots, yeah.
And it went to her brain or her heart or some part that killed her. And he's like, "What? I thought she just had a broken arm." And he's like, "Well, this shit happens." And then he just walks out.
So they ended up going back to the grocery store. They review the tape. They see all the party involved, and they're just like, "Those motherfuckers." So now the whole building is like out for blood, especially Rodriguez. He doesn't give a crap about his wife. He has one moment watching the tape where he looks really heartbroken, but then, a nice long 8-hour sleep, he's feeling okay. He's ready to murder again. So
he's ready to murder for the first time.
Yeah, good point. Feels like the first time.
So
They gotta hit that street again, right?
Yeah, time for the Giggler's last giggle.
Yeah, ooh.
So
the giggle got his
Paul's
last giggle.
like, because Paul, Fraker and Paul are like opposite sides of the same coin. They're both all about the mind games.
Yeah,
and Paul's like, "I'm gonna set these motherfuckers up." So he gets this sweet ass Nikon camera.
Yep.
Looks like some cheap
so
shit.
Stupid.
And he's like, "I'm gonna go get some ice cream."
This is some good product placement because they're using it as a plot device, So he throws it over his shoulder, and you see in giant bold yellow letters, Nikon.
He's just like swinging it around. He's
yeah,
like, it's like when you play with a cat, the toy. You're like toying with it, and he's going to get an ice cream, and then fucking the giggle can't resist.
Dude,
he's just like.
I can't believe you're not bringing up that they bring up the little kid again.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so he goes in and gets an ice cream for the little kid with the Jerry curl.
Of course, and he, of course, again, gets the ice cream. Yeah!
He's
that kid.
Kid's hiding behind like some pile of like pop cans. Like, yeah!
He's like, if you ever played Mortal Kombat, there was the one guy who would pop up when you did a punch and go, hoo-hoo! That's pretty much what this kid was in the movie. He'd randomly pop up and just be like, yeah! So
he walks out with his ice cream.
Just a fudgicle.
Dangling that Nikon.
Yeah.
And Giggler can't resist, man.
You can actually hear somebody. It's clearly like a voice, a voiceover into it, but he goes, "You see that Nikon?" It's so good. I was cracking up so hard.
First of all, I love that this is Charles' plan, all right? So he grabs the Nikon, starts running, and Chuck just pulls out a gun and just shoots him in the back.
He pulls out Wildey, and he's just like, pop.
First of all, that is textbook murder right there.
Murder.
Even if a guy robs you cannot shoot them in the back as they're running away from you.
Yeah, you can't.
But people are like, yeah! There's like a street fucking block party breaks out.
Well, it is an elephant gun, so you hear it from 4 miles away. And the whole city comes down, and the one lady comes down. She's like, "That fucking asshole stole my purse last week." And starts kicking them and shit.
There's like a fucking parade breaks out.
Oh man, it was epic. They all buy the fudgicles and they're eating them, and throwing the popsicle
The little kid
sticks.
jumps out, yeah, and then disappears.
Gets a couple kicks in there. So the whole town again is just they're coming together around fucking Paul Kersey. You know, he's the hero here.
So then the next day, Stryker finds the Giggler. And people are like, "Man, you should have killed that guy. What, do your job, cop." And he's just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, like Chief is trying to get like the beat on the town, and the cop who was there, he's just like, "Everyone's doing really good right now." Like, they all invited us up.
Stuff works.
Yeah, murder works.
Who would have thought? All we gotta do is kill these criminals.
All we gotta do is kill people. Oh boy.
So we cut to the big date night.
Oh, dude, is it date night already? It's Friday already?
Yes.
He's got this town feeling so good about itself. It's been 3 days.
Right. He has the power of Paul Kersey. He just turns the whole city around.
It's the power of murder.
And so he shows up at... she's going to cook for him because it's a special date.
Yeah.
And Paul, she's like, "I got chicken." He's like, "Chicken? I like chicken.
I hope you like chicken. It's the only thing I know how to cook.
I like chicken." Really awkward line read for that one. And so they have their chicken.
But I don't like chicken, director. You're acting, Charles.
And then she's like, this is literally the first date they've ever... "Paul, I don't know anything about you."
I know.
And it's like, well, we just met 2 days ago, and this is our first date.
I think if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, "Can you leave now?" That is so awkward and
Well, then
crazy.
he goes, he's like fumbling for anything. He's like, "I like opera." And then she's like, "Do you really like opera?" "No." Because he thought, what's some dizzy broad gonna think that's cultured? I'll say opera.
Yeah. It was so fucking... This is a man who was married. He's weathered. You don't think he'd be rattled by going on a date with somebody 50 years younger than him?
Well, it's been 10 years. He's been a lot of murdering in between that.
All right.
Well, he did have a relationship in Death Wish, too, so I don't know what happened.
He's just going coast to coast, fucking broads, pretending to be all coy about it.
Maybe
I know
that's
his
it. He's
games.
playing hard to get.
Yeah. You know what? That makes perfect sense.
She's basically throwing herself at him. So
mind games.
It's all
This
mind
is
games.
a different mind game. We're used to him and his murderous mind games. This is him and his
sexual
mind games. Fuck, man. I wonder if he had any of his Bronson sex toys with him that night. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's why he didn't.
The Bron Schlong was definitely in effect that night. Or maybe, no, that was the next night because they don't do anything.
Yeah, he was just showing her the outline, and
what you see.
I like opera, and then he switched legs or something.
So while that's going on, we got the fucking criminal mastermind Fraker. He's got this guy called the Cuban, and he's getting him high. He's like, "Dear, do some more rails of coke," and he's like, because that's why he never goes to jail, because other people kill for him. So he's trying to get this guy so fucked up and high that he will kill for him. And it works. The guy's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm ready to kill." So we cut to Paul getting back home. Very chaste date. He only fucks on the second date.
Yeah.
And so he's got his old Wildey in his pocket. He's walking.
No, I mean, he got home and looked out the window again.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did get all the way home. He switched out of his nice clothes.
He put on his bulletproof vest or his knife-proof vest.
It works both ways somehow.
Yeah, and so why does he go back outside?
So he looks out his window just to survey the scene, make sure that the streets are good, and of course, there's fucking Fracker staring up at him. And I like that you did that for my benefit.
Well, yeah.
So immediately, Paul is just like, I'm going to get you. And he hits the streets.
Oh, okay.
And he's obviously leading him into a trap.
Of course.
But Paul's just like, I got Wildey with me.
Right.
I'm not afraid of this.
Does he? Because it doesn't immediately get knocked out of his hand?
So fucking Fraker runs down
an
alley in between two buildings, which is essentially
an alley.
An alley. Yeah. And Charles gets like 3 steps into the alley, trips, and like throws his gun 45 feet away. But Fraker has an Uzi, so he starts spraying bullets at him.
Yeah.
So he had to keep running. And this is like the first extended scene we get of the two of them like going back and forth, so we don't have a cut of the gang and a cut of him. So Charles is I keep saying Kersey is running for his life, and he's like going underground, he's going into buildings, coming in, he's coming out, and he eventually gets trapped. You remember the trap?
Is this where they stab him?
Dead end. Oh, did they stab him at that point? Was that underground? I think it was when he ran into one of the houses. He got stabbed.
Okay. Well, I know he gets to the roof.
Yeah, he gets. I just remember that he does get stabbed at some point.
He does get stabbed.
He goes to the dead end. You're like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen here? But then he turns to his right and there's a ladder, and he just
fire escape.
Yeah.
And so he goes into a window, and this guy's like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "This happens all the time." He's not bothered at all.
Everybody in the city is just like, okay.
And then the Cuban, who's hyped up on cocaine, chases him, and they go to the roof of the building. And then Paul just hides behind something, like air conditioning unit or something.
Yeah.
And the Cuban's just all fucked up on coke. And then Paul just grabs him and throws the worst looking dummy off of the building. This really bad stunt dummy that goes.
He found a nice lead pipe to bonk him with first, and then he tossed them.
Okay.
But yeah, tosses him. He just goes back down to the streets. The whole gang gave up. They were like, nah, Cubans got him. We're going to go home. So he goes, he finds Wildey, and he retires. Goes
for
back
the evening.
To the evening.
Not.
Where is he on? Because was he a cop before?
He was an architect.
He was an architect. Okay, I was going to say, what happened with the whole 2 weeks
So he
from
must
retirement?
have made a lot of money as an architect because he's basically independently wealthy. He can afford.
He's a writer.
Well, he said that's his cover. He's a writer.
No, he writes. He writes.
But
on the
he
side.
might write for himself, but he's never been published.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. He's probably got a zine.
He probably has a book of poetry.
Yeah. That's
book on opera.
People are just now starting to find, and they're like, "Man, this is really good. This is deep shit."
Chuck Bronkowski. So, okay. So what's Stryker up to? Was this Stryker? Because I remember what happens is the Jewish couple, they get robbed, and the guy has a gun. And then the cops come and go, "Hey, motherfucker, you can't be shooting criminals that are robbing you."
Yeah.
And they start fucking giving the Jewish people shit.
They didn't even shoot anybody. The witnesses or whoever, the people called in, said that the guy in the building brandished a gun at them. And so the cops came, and they're like, "You can't do that." And they were like, "It's fucking war out here. 2 people died on my stoop yesterday." And the cops are just like, "Nope, taking your gun, or I'm taking you to jail." And the toilet's broken.
And the guy's like, "I can't pee in front of other people."
I'm pretty sure we already passed it, but one of my favorite moments of the movie This gang is there's so many people enlisted in the gang. They don't even have enough weapons to go around. So there's a guy who runs around with a plunger. And we were joking about how that guy ends up in the holding cell a lot, and that's why the toilet was broken.
He stole the plunger. My guess is he's like the mascot of the group, like he's like the guy from Road Warrior gets his fingers chopped off with a boomerang. He's like the toady dude, like,
for sure.
And they just put up with him because they can do whatever they want to him.
I thought maybe he's like you've seen SLC Punk.
Years ago.
Okay. There was the one guy who went around with them who didn't dress like a punk guy. He wore like the sweaters. I thought maybe that was supposed to be him. Like he was that guy where because he was wearing like nice sweater and slacks. So I was like, maybe that's supposed to be that guy.
He's like a gang tourist.
Exactly. So Stryker, I believe he's gonna go back on to Stryker. No, that's supposed to be Fracker.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just so fucked up. I was too tired. I corrected some of the shit, but
that's all right. But Fracker goes back to picking on the easy wins, the low hanging fruit, the fucking elderly.
Oh, is this where he slashes that woman's throat?
Yeah, this is because he
calls because he's once again he's like the Hannibal Lecter of degenerate street gangs.
Yeah,
and he calls up this other guy who owns like some kind of shop. I don't know what the fuck he sells. And he's like, "Hey, your wife's she's all by herself. She's all alone."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Does he just say like I killed her? I don't know."
Yeah, he's like, "You really should get back here and take care of her."
And then the guy looks out the window of the shop and he sees like his apartment building across the street, and there's Fraker looking gingery as fuck. And then he runs over there, and his wife's got a slashed throat, and he's just like, "That's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more."
Yeah. So
he's out for blood too. It's just a powder keg. This neighborhood.
The building starts going nuts,
and this is where Bennett goes, "Hey man, I like what you're doing, Paul, but you're not killing enough people.
Yeah,
let me show you something.
I got a little something tucked away from your old buddy."
Was it? I thought it was Bennett's. Was it? Was this the thing that he has to take care of?
This is Charlie's.
So he opens up this cabinet. There's a fucking heavy machine gun,
30 caliber.
Okay, did you notice that? I don't think you're supposed to hold the barrel while you're shooting these.
I don't think you
these
are.
Things. I mean, this isn't like a fucking assault rifle. This is a heavy machine gun. These things you put on a tripod when you shot them, like in the war.
Everything about like when he actually hits the street with that, I was like, that can't be comfortable. Like your hand's probably melting skin right now.
You think he'd at least have a glove on or some kind of half-ass thing, like an oven mitt, the of glove.
Hold on, of glove wasn't invented yet. So unless Merman Productions goes back in time and puts an of glove on him, in which case the giggler, if he were still alive, would be like, is that an of glove? I'm gonna steal that shit.
and so Bennett and Paul just giggle, smile at each other, and go, "Yeah."
Paul's like, "You know what? Keep that tucked away for a little while. Let me do my thing." Okay.
He doesn't want to give Paul has to take the credit for everything. You can't just let anyone just go, "Hey, I have an idea."
Yeah,
that's a great idea. I'll say it's mine later.
So, he explains to Bennett, "Keep cool, dude. Give it another day. I got business to attend to."
Well, yes, he does.
He gets back into that car, which I thought was on bricks the other day. Apparently, it's not. And he drives right over to Catherine's establishment. And they already had chicken dinner. She doesn't know how to cook anything else. So she's like, "Why don't I cook you up something a little more steamy, like stuffed my pussy?"
Yikes.
I have a bottle of wine in here, man. I got the jokes for days.
Yeah, okay.
So
wow,
he's going to stuff her cabbage.
Hey-yo!
That's a callback.
And he does, and fortunately, we don't get to see that.
No. You get one glimpse of him putting his shirt on.
It's that classic scene, like usually in a movie it's a woman like putting his shirt on, but it's him, and it's all lit, like it's just right on him. And he's like, "Dude's got fucking better abs than me, and he's fucking 80 years old, so I can't say shit."
The other thing I wanted to mention, on the first date when they kiss, they put a stunt double in there for the kiss. Did you notice that?
For who?
For Chuck.
Well, I don't know. I guess he...
Like, they go from a wide shot, and then she leans in for the kiss, and then they do a super close-up, and you can tell it's not him. Like, that's how offended this woman was.
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was because... We go talk about Chuck doesn't fuck anybody. Charles, I guess you're just saying Chuck, you don't fuck anybody in movies. I can't really think of... It might have been because of his wife.
Maybe.
Because she was always his love interest in all these movies.
That's right.
So maybe that was it. Because I know she died of cancer like a few years after this movie came out. So maybe she was sick or something, and he felt like it would not be appropriate.
Yeah. So now that he's, tired her out, and he's a little tired, and he's like, hey, I got an idea. Hey. I need to go get something to eat.
Yeah, he's worn out, man.
Yeah.
Like, I need an energy drink.
That's what the kids drink nowadays, right?
And she's like, I can go for something too. Well, let's go, baby.
You got any place in mind? She's like, of course. So they're going to hit the streets. And, he's like, first I got to stop by the old post office.
Right.
And
apparently the post office is open at like
24 hours a day.
2 in the morning.
Okay. Look, I know it was dark out. And Charles has been, into some action. I don't think it's 2 a.m. It might be 9:45.
Maybe if it's in the winter, maybe it was that dark.
Yeah. Either way.
So he stops to get his mail.
His mail.
And while he's in there, Fraker got some mind games. He was tailing them.
Yeah.
And one punch knocks out the girlfriend.
Yep.
And then he kicks the car into neutral, and they push it. Luckily for them, they're right on top of a hill.
New York, like San Francisco, known for all their hills.
Yeah. Yeah, it was for New York. It's a very sparsely populated New York section of New York.
Yeah. And
they push it down the hill, and it just taps into another car and bursts into flames. It explodes. Unfortunately for her, she actually woke up. She got to see her own death because she wakes up just in time. She's too stupid to just grab the wheel and turn it away. She's just like, blows up. Paul runs out. He's like, he's like, it's the first time I got laid in years. He's bummed out. But he gets over it. He gets over it.
Yeah, he gets over it like immediately. And so we don't get to really see him get over it. We just we get a shot of the car exploding, and then it cuts to the gang, and they just, now that they've pissed Paul off, they're just like, all hell's gonna break loose, and they blow up Bennett's building, his clock repair shop, and he's just like, my clocks. And then he's just like...
You can do a lot of shit to Bennett, but do not fuck with his clocks.
Yeah. So he's like, that's the final straw. And he gets home. We don't know where Paul is at this point. Like, he's probably off burying his dead girlfriend with his bare hands. So Bennett goes back to his house, and he gets that fucking 30 cal.
Did you notice this? Back to Foreshadow. That they immediately buried like Charlie within hours, because while Chuck was like in jail, they already had a funeral and buried Charlie, because he gets out like 24 hours later.
Did they?
Yes, because when he meets Bennett, they talk about that.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right.
They're like, yeah, he's been buried.
That was they were planning that thing in advance.
Maybe Charlie was Jewish, because Jewish people, they have to do it within like 2 or 3 days or something like that.
Hey, maybe. Well, wow. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say maybe everybody in the building was Jewish, but that's not true.
Really annoying tangent. But anyway, so we get to Bennett's this fucking. He's like, I can't take this shit anymore. So he grabs he has another machine gun for himself, but apparently he doesn't take good care of this machine gun, because he's ready to just blow these fuckers away.
Yeah.
And he's got the fucking Rambo bolero bullets.
Yeah,
bolero's not the word. What's it? Bandoleros.
Bandolero.
And he's just
bandolier.
Like, he's got the fucking Rambo fucking headband on. He's shirtless.
He ripped off his sleeves of his sweater vest.
And then he's like, "Die, you fuckers!" And then click, it jams. And then these people,
the whole gang is just like, "The motherfucker jam! Get him!"
They go up the fire escape, beat the shit out of him.
Fucking wreck him.
I love how they pummel the shit out of him. He survives. fucking Deanna Troi gets a broken arm and dies. And so,
such a ruthless gang. They like this guy was about to unload on him. They're like, let's just pummel him a little bit and take him to the hospital. Oh, so now Bennett's out of the picture. Fuck, and that 30 cal's got to be gone. You would think the gang would use it, but they don't. You don't.
He was using a different 30 cal.
There's two of them.
Right.
But you would think the gang would have used it, but you never see that 30 cal come up again. So, oh boy, where do we go from here?
Final battle.
Oh, we got to get ready for that final
Last
battle.
20 minutes is just carnage.
You know, before poor Paul's girlfriend died, he picked up a couple packages. I wonder what was in those packages. So he's got to go home. Oh, fucking Bennett's gone. Oh, shit.
Well, considering this is a mid-'80s Golden Globus movie, I'm going to geek a wild guess on what was in one of those packages.
Go ahead. Just take a stab in the dark.
Bazooka?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bazooka. With,
yes!
Do you know what kind of rounds they were?
No.
Anti-tank, explosive diarrhea,
incendiary, napalm,
banana bomb having. It's like, it's going to kill everything. We just need to group them up.
Right.
So now he's working with Rodriguez because Bennett's out of the picture.
I also want to love how, I want to, and I do, love how Paul has a fucking arsenal, and poor Rodriguez has a fucking zip gun.
A zip gun?
Which is just like a homemade gun. It's not even a real gun.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can't throw him like one fucking gun?
Not one.
He's like, you know what you can do? You get to hold my bullets.
Yeah. So they get the other 30 cal. And he's like,
Rodriguez,
Rodriguez,
got the bullets in a cardboard box.
And so they hit the streets, and now they're engaged in the all-out riot on the streets, and they're just gunning people down. And, you know, with all this...
Literally, Rodriguez is right next to him, holding a cardboard box with bullets in it.
Yeah.
And he's in bitch mode. He's like in the bitch seat. Like, he's like, hey, can I hold your bullets at least?
They didn't even give him like a leather jacket. He's in his sweater and slacks. Like,
he's got like a members only jacket.
Yeah,
or some
like
shit.
Bronson at least put on his leather jacket. He's got Wildey strapped to his, his side there. But
got his bulletproof vest
they're going down. They're causing all kinds of hell. They're mowing people down. The numbers are climbing, and it's not even at all. It's mostly Paul crew. But with all this action going on, we need to check in on our Silverman family. And Mr. Silverman's trying to look out the window to see what's going on in the riot.
See anything.
And his wife's like, just come sit down. It's on the TV. He sits down on TV, which is just displaying all this gore and anarchy, and he cracks the biggest smile. He's just like, finally.
Murder.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
He just loves murder.
So
fucking all hell breaks loose. Because Fraker calls in a biker gang. He's like, I need some backups. These bikers show
I love
up.
these bikers.
They got like the German fucking army helmets from World War II
the
on.
pith helmets.
And they're just fucking they're getting mowed down. They don't do anything.
No.
Paul just mows them down.
Taking it.
Literally the last 20 minutes of this movie is just an orgy of destruction.
Absolutely.
You got Paul and Rodriguez fucking mowing people down. You got townsfolk mowing people down. You got cops show up. They start mowing people down. You got the gangs mowing people down. I don't know how anyone survived this.
I love the moment where the biker gang, which they only use grenades. And by the way, I love movie grenades because it's not just like a little explosion. It's goddamn like nuclear bomb. Like every time it's this huge mushroom cloud. Like they throw a grenade in a house and the house completely just... It's like there was never a house there at all.
You're right.
So I love the downfall of the biker gang, though. Do you remember that?
Was the chain?
With the chain kids. There was children in there.
Well, yeah, I loved it because I don't know if I'm thinking about the right moment, but there is a moment where a lot of people die, and all the kids come out in the street going, "Yay!" and everyone's like shooting bullets in the air.
Yeah.
Going, "Yahoo!" Because the biker gang, they're driving down the street, and then the townspeople, they have a chain across the road, and they decapitate all these guys with the chain. And then all the kids come out, yay, they're kicking the heads around. Yay! little black kid with a cherry go, yeah!
Yeah! Little rascals. So, with all these fires and, all these bullets, grenades going around, the cops finally show up. This has been happening for like 3 hours. And you'd think they're like, let's call in the SWAT team. No SWAT team ever shows up. No. The firemen finally show up eventually.
I love it's like a 1920s like fire brigade. Like the fucking 100-year-old truck they had. That's not a fire truck.
Did you also notice that every fireman, the ones who were spraying the hose, they'd always have 2 firefighters like throwing an arm around them.
No, I didn't know.
It was always like a team of 3, and they're always like hugging the guy to support him. Like, you're doing a good job fighting the fire. It's so much.
And then
weird.
for some, I don't know why, but the firemen pull out guns and start shooting people. It was crazy.
Well, shit, they knew what they were going into. Everybody had
people
a gun.
Are coming in from out of town, and like I just want to kill people.
Poor Rodriguez is the only one without a gun.
He got his pathetic little zip gun. Hold on, I got to reload. Like every shot he has to reload. He's got a fucking musket. All right,
yeah. Muzzle loader. I love how unfocused the gang is, though, because they can win this fight. No, they're so busy looting random people.
Well, right. These guys are like, I know I'm in a fight for my life, but I want to go rape that woman there. Yeah. And it is great. This is the woman you were alluding to earlier in the
director's girlfriend.
And so they just rip her clothes off, but fortunately Paul's in time for anything can happen. He blows these guys away, and she's safe.
Yep. And then there was this other moment where a guy, again, a random cut of a gang member trying to break into a house, and
I love this scene.
Paul Kersey must have stopped by, or like maybe he had a town hall meeting and was like explaining, here's how you make a good trap for your back door. So the guy opens the door, and a knife board shoots up and stabs him right through the fucking forehead.
Yeah, that was great.
And gets his 2 front teeth. Because why not?
And then it's crazy because all the time all this fight is happening, the Benny Hill music's playing. I don't know why, but it's
they didn't know how to read the moment, like the mood.
I told you there were some weird comedic moments in this movie.
So Paul realizes after he kills like the people who are about to rape the woman, he's like, "Oh shit, I'm out of bullets." Like his 30 cal's been out, Wildey's out of ammo, so he's like, "I got to go back to the home base." As he's going there, he gets cut off.
Meanwhile, we forgot. Schreiker shows up, and he's like, I'm in heaven. He starts just killing people. He's like, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to get to him because as he's heading home, he gets cut off, and he realizes he's got no bullets, but no big deal. Chief's there, fucking pop, just waste 2 guys, and he's like, I can get used to this. He's so excited because this is how he knows he's going to get that extra bonus to his pension.
And he can finally get that promotion he's been looking for.
He's been eyeing that promotion. He knew he
can finally actually become a chief.
Couple gang murders was all he needed. So Paul gets back to his house. We don't know what happened to Chief Schreiker. He's in the
he's just killing people.
He's out. Yeah, he's out just having a good time. So then Schreiker shows up in Paul's apartment, and they're like having a bro down real quick. Paul goes to sit down, grab himself a nice Fanta. He's got to get his sugar levels back up because he's diabetic at this old age.
A little faint.
Yep. And as he's sitting there, one gang member comes in and thinks he has the beat on him, but fucking what?
The major? You talking about it's Fraker.
It's fucking Fraker. And so Fraker thinks he has the beat on Paul, and fucking Schreiker shows up and shoots him. Right. And they're like, game over. So they both sit down. They're relaxing.
Well, no, and then Paul shoots. Fraker shot like 7 times in the chest.
Did he get shot that many times?
Yes, because Paul unloaded on him, too.
I didn't know Paul did.
Well, Schreiker gets shot in the shoulder.
Oh.
Because everybody gets shot in the shoulder in movies.
Oh, he winged me.
And so then Paul unloads on Fraker, but then Fraker jumps up and goes, bulletproof vest, asshole, just like you.
So now he's got the 2 guys, no guns in their hands, and he's got the gun drawn. And I believe Schreiker says something along the lines of, like, you can't get both of us. For those who pay attention to, the movies, you notice what's happening to Paul Kersey's immediate right. It's like at his 5 o'clock, And as soon as, because we get a first-person view of Fraker turning from Charles over to Schreiker, and as he turns to Schreiker, Paul Kersey, the 90-year-old man, uses all of his agility to grab the bazooka.
Just happens to be standing there.
Leaning
against
there.
the wall. He's like, but do you have an anti-tank vest? And then boom! And it blows the motherfucker. It was reminiscent of the end of Invasion USA.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a good bazooka death.
It pretty much was.
So there's just like a fireball that flies out the window that we see.
Yeah. And then you see the gang all outside. They've all got like bike chains, toilet plungers, scrubs, brooms, any weapon they could find, and they just drop them in.
Well, they're like, no, because they're like, now that all the heads have been killed, I think it was Fraker's girlfriend's the leader now, and she's like, no, I respect these people now because they finally started murdering people. So we're going to respect them and leave them, let them have their neighborhood back. So they walk out.
Wow. So, I mean, you don't need to clean up. Your buddy Charlie's been honored in some way, so you leave. Yeah, you leave, right?
Well, no, I mean, Stryker goes, look, I love what you did. You did what needed to be done, but your job is done now. You got, like, the cops are going to be here. The real cops are going to be here in about 5 minutes. I don't know who the fuck you are. Wink.
Wink.
And then the next cut is just Paul Kersey got his bags packed, walking down the street. Cause,
Hulk music.
Well, no, this is more happy. This is a happy moment.
Okay.
He's moving on. He's like on to the next city. I think in part 4 he's back in L.A. I don't know.
They're coast to coast.
Yeah, he's like, it's this flyover country. Has no use
no
for.
Midwest.
And so that's it. I mean, that's Death Wish 3.
Death Wish 3, guys. So we hope you enjoyed it. And, I mean, we got a really big episode next week. I mean, this one was huge, but next week is going to be big, too.
Well, yeah. I mean, before we get into that, because we got, Schlocktober was huge, Griff. We got a lot of new listeners. So I just want to take a moment, because we've given you such great entertainment tonight, to do a shameless plug for our social media.
Yeah.
Because if you were the best way to know what we're going to do, because me and Griff, we tried to give like a preview of what the upcoming episode is, and then we can give you, let you know any comedy bits. We try to fit it. We have a Twitter at G&G Theater. We have an Instagram. Was it Golden Globus Theater?
Golden Globus Theater.
We do not have a Facebook. We explained it in the previous episode why we don't have a Facebook, because it's fucking bullshit.
They don't like us.
As last time I checked, which was a long time ago, we still are banned from Facebook. I have no fucking idea why. We don't put any nudity or even swearing on our. We save that for the show. Mm-hmm. All right? You have to come to the show if you want to hear swearing about nudity. You want to hear stuffed pussies or whatever the fuck you said.
I was just going to say my horrible jokes.
You fucking creep. And so
I'm feeling good about that one.
So I know you're like, man, I love this show, but I need to tell people about it. Well, this is how you tell them about it. You go, hey, go to G and G Theater on the Twitter, or go to Golden Globus Theater on the Instagram, and you'll see some great. We love putting up pictures.
We both put up like our own pictures, own moment that we like enjoyed from the movie.
Right,
Christopher Lee and his sweet glasses.
Yeah, man. So just check that out. That's out of the way. All right. Thank you for letting us do that. Now, let's get on to our next episode.
We got the business.
You've heard whispers of this guy. We have a special guest next week. His name is spoken in whispers. You probably
use his name more than we've used each other's names.
You probably think he's a character. No, he's not. This guy really exists. Of course, we're talking about Hair Metal Sean.
Or Yacht Rock Sean.
Or Bougie Sean.
He's so many names.
A man of many names. And he's going to be on next week talking about it. Now, here's the thing. Whenever we have our friends on, the deal is you have to talk about your favorite Golden Globus movie.
Yeah.
But because this is how amazing Hair Metal Sean is. We're throwing that rule out the fucking window.
Tossing it.
We're letting him talk about his favorite 80s movie, period.
Okay.
And of course,
we just do a lot of 80s movies, too. So.
Yes. But the rule is, the first time you come on as a guest, it's got to be about your favorite Golden Globus. But we said, fuck that, because I don't know if people know this, but our great mascot, Frank Grills, the machine gun shooting hot dog, Who should? I guess maybe we should change to a 30 caliber shooting hot dog.
Well, yeah, we might need to. I don't think I'll like that.
I would love a bazooka. I'm just saying. I'm just
That's
throwing it out there.
That's
here,
a good
man.
point.
I'm just throwing it out there, here, Sean. I would like a bazooka, but
Get this episode out of here, man.
let me fucking finish.
I am.
So since he's done so much shit for us, we're gonna let him do whatever the fuck he wants. And what he wants to talk about is the '80s classic, Buckaroo Banzai. I saw this movie as a kid. I did not like it. I hope it was just I wasn't mature enough. I didn't have the mental capacity to appreciate it. I hope that my whole view of it changes. I don't know. We'll find out next week.
We might have another over-the-top situation.
We're definitely going to meet him halfway. And we'll meet you guys halfway next week. So see you next week and keep it warm.
Keep it be.